Welcome to How Not to Souls. J-Ron here, and today we're looking at a Dark Souls 2 Soul Level 1 build for Dark Souls 2, because that's where you would do this Dark Souls 2 Soul Level 1 run. A very challenging, rewarding, and fun playthrough, I will add. I'm not going to comment on any PvP. I wouldn't even bring this into the PvP meta or format. You're still level 1. And then, even with the added stat bonuses from our equipment, I still wouldn't go into PvP. But and the damage isn't terrible, but it's not PvP quality, especially if you're going up against monsters that have heavy armor or shield or blah 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 blah. Anyway, as you can see, we are soul level 1 with some stat bonuses from our gear. Yeah, and we had a couple different setups with weapons, which I'll go over lightly. There'll be something more in depth down the road. But we'll go over lightly with what we're doing. First, let's go over our gear, and then we can move on. Gear being armor, and yeah. So basically, we wore, as soon as we got this stuff, we kept it on. We didn't take it off. Kale's helm, +2 dex, +1 endurance. Very just crucial for the whole thing. Crucial. Even if I take it off, there was instances where it was just I just do terrible if I take it off. Super positive bonus stats for our situation. The peasant's attire, you get on each piece of the peasant's attire outside of the peasant's hat. You get a +2 to adaptability, so we got a +6 adaptability, but a -1 intelligence for each piece, so it's a -3 intelligence. But we didn't really need to worry about intelligence because we weren't casting. So that really didn't matter. And any kind of buffs were like resins or the aromatic ooze, those stats don't affect those. Those are flat damage boosts. For our rings, so I'll just say this was our standard layout from when we got the rings. So as soon as we got Flynn's ring and as soon as we got the Ring of the Embedded, those were on for the rest of the playthrough. I went to the DLCs early to go grab those. Along with the Dex ring, so I went to Shulva, I went to Eliam Lois, I went to Broom Tower, all early to get these things. Dex ring was the easiest one to get, by the way. Just the beginning of Broom Tower. But other rings that we used that were important and as of note. As always, the King's Ring is important for every playthrough in Dark Souls 2. You need to open the King's Doors. Just to get that one out of the way. Strength Ring for using strength-based weapons. I use the Covetous Serpent Ring to gain souls so I can buy stuff. So, because, we're spending our souls on items. We're not spending on level items, like crafting items, consumables, this and that. The Gold Serpent Ring for getting items that weren't being dropped easily. We also have other gear associated with that, but we're not going to get into that because that really wasn't as important. Ring of Blades, I always keep it on every build. This was up until I got Flynn's Ring. Flynn's Ring is really good. It gives you a bonus to damage based on your equip load. The lower it is, the higher your damage bonus is. I don't know the exact thresholds of what you get at what, but all I know is less stuff, good damage. The third Dragon Ring, if I needed extra health, stamina, and equip load, really just for the health and stamina if I needed it. And the life rings early on until I got the Ring of the Embedded. Because the Ring of the Embedded gives you a stat boost on your vigor, endurance, and equip load based on your stats. If I read it right, I had to look in the wiki for a lot of the full explanations of these things. Other things I think would be good on this if you wanted to focus more on damage and not supplementing yourself or anything like that. With the rapier, the O-ring, thrust attacks, and that gives you good damage on counters. Ring of Restoration always was a good one. and the blue seal early game to get that extra amount of hit points so we gained a little more confidence. Oh, and Gower's Ring of Protection. I can't tell you how important this ring was in like the situations I needed it in. I would have died and been. I'm kind of getting a little PTSD about it right now. Not like real PTSD. You know what I mean. I'm just getting like the anxiety's rising, going back to that memory about those memories when I was weird. Very, very helpful ring. I never, and it does what it says. It reduces damage taken from behind. After 5 hits, though, it breaks. Now for like our weapon setups and our ring. I think went over the ring change outs. But so this was our main setup. Sans the vessel shield. The vessel shield, we got an Ilium Lois. But if I got it earlier, that would have been on the entire time. Because it's great. The stat boosts on it are great. So this is our rapier setup. We couldn't wield the rapier without the dex ring and the bonus. Well, with the dex ring, yeah, with this, without the dex ring, we could two-hand it with this, with the work hook. But with the dex ring, you can one-hand it. Sorry. The work hook gives you a +5 dex bonus and a -3 adaptability. So that's the give and take with that. Especially like some of this equipment, there's a lot of give and take of getting things stats taken away to get extra damage. So keep that in mind. Because sometimes I wasn't thinking clearly. Because I'll put the ladle on with this, but the ladle gives you. Hold on. I had it in my head. The ladle gives you +1 vitality, endurance, +2 adaptability, but it takes away 1 point of dex. So sometimes I just have the ladle on for some reason, but no. Anyway, having the work hook on as your sidearm helped us wield this. And yeah, for the time we needed it. Early game, we got the mace. Mace, we had the two-hand, but it's a perfectly good weapon to two-hand. Pretty powerful weapon. This is how I would do it later game, because the dex doesn't matter anyhow. But yeah, we had the mace for early to mid game, and certain bosses, the mace just worked better. Like armored bosses, the mace was kind of wild. Kind of wild. Worked out really well for us. And then for our large club setup, which we can actually, or not large club, great club setup. Our great club setup, if I can find it, was used for Ilium Lois. Really, just to fight the Ilium Lois Knights and a couple of enemies in Ilium Lois. I feel like it's a good option in other fights as well. But since you don't get the Vessel Shield until you beat Ava, it's usually not going to be an option to unless you're a beast at the game. I'm not, but I say late mid game to end game, you're not going to get the Vessel Shield. At least, I'm not going to get the Vessel Shield till that point because I'm not a beast at this game. But I did beat it Soul level 1, so that says something. But yeah, that's our strength side, our ultra strength side to it. Super good. We did good damage. Paired with gold pine resin too. It was pretty wild. And the rings, those would be the rings I would wear for it. But for the most part, we were a rapier kind of gal. The rapier, in my opinion, is the best weapon in the game. And I was happy we were able to wield it. And I finally learned how to parry in this game. Never really did it before. Never really saw the point if I could sit there and just beat up everyone. But this time around, we're going to parry some guys. And it was worth it. So, but overall, this was a fun playthrough. That was what I did with it. It was I wouldn't say the most OP thing you'll ever play, because it's not. But for a soul level 1, it does surprising amount of damage. And is very adaptable for the situation. But keep in mind, you got to have your mind open up to having other options other than your one weapon. So, and that's what I did. But guys, thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day. And I'll see you later. Peace out.